Here we go with a campground review of a state park in Traverse City, Michigan. It's a really nice park. I had a site that I liked very much, and we'll get going with looking around this very large campground. Really large campgrounds aren't my thing, but this isn't too bad. It's right along the lake, but in between the lake is a busy road, US 31. But driving by, I happened to see Cousin Eddie's brother. I've seen a couple of them lately. That bridge gets you from the campground to the lake. It seems like constant and never ending. Just all day long. 31 is not fun. Now, with the road aside and some of the noise on the sites closest to it, I still think this is a very nice campground. The sites aren't too small, but there are some sections that seem a little crowded. The sites are electric only, but scattered through the campground are places to get water. Every site has a fire ring. Lots of trees. Lots of tent camping goes on in Michigan. Here's one of those sites that's just too close to the road for my opinion. But you get further away and you don't hear much road noise. Alright, apparently this trail will take me all the way downtown, opposed to riding along the curb on 31, which is ungodly busy. So 4.3 miles they say, and I'll hit that today right here at the campground. No clue. I guess I'm a newbie. I know it's a very big campground, but somehow it's still pretty. There's a lot of trees, there's a lot of shade. They also have group camping areas. Sorry, that's a little blurry. So groups can go together. And you always see lots of different kinds of RVs. Airstreams, one of my favorites. Those are always cool, classic to look at. And I love me a Westie, and you see those. It's just cool to look around. This is one of the 3 bathhouses they have, restrooms and bathhouses. They're pretty nice, functional, kept pretty clean. No complaints about those facilities. Again, I always tell people, if you're looking to buy an RV, you can go to an RV show or go to a big campground like this. You see just about everything that's there, and then you can ask people about them. They'll tell you. And from what I could tell, this is the highest site, 480 sites here. But see, all kinds of different RVs. And people that like their RVs like showing them around. So you could see something cool like an old Airstream. It's an Airstream. Yeah, an actual Airstream. Here's the biggest of the bathrooms in the facility. These are the shower houses. I think there's 6 or 8 of them. They were clean, had good water pressure. No problem whatsoever for those that use the facilities. Okay, the power box situation is kind of odd here. You got things coming from all sides. And there's that. I hadn't seen a setup like this, but it works. And as far as I can tell, there was only 30 amp. I don't know if there's some 50 throughout the park. You'd have to check their website. I'll put a link in it. Okay, we'll do a quick ride around tour of the campground. It's really big and hard to do and a little crowded, but maybe it'll come out decent. Now, I realize my way of trying to show you the entire campground isn't for everybody. So if you're just wondering what it might be like, you probably just watched the beginning of it. After this, this is for the people that might actually want to go to this particular campground. I set it at 2 times speed for this video. So if you get to an area that you want to watch a little closer, you know, in YouTube, you can go and change the speed at which you're watching the videos. Hopefully it's not too bouncy, and it's helpful to anybody that might be actually going to this campground. Group area. When I do campground reviews, I try my best to be as honest as I possibly can. I've shown many campground reviews, some of the places I loved and thought were fantastic, and other places that I didn't like. This is kind of in the middle. For the location and where I wanted to be in Traverse City, this was an awesome campground. It's bigger than I would personally like, but at the same time, there were many sections of it that didn't seem too overly packed in or too crowded. I've been to some campgrounds where you can't hardly open your awning without hitting the next person's RV. This place isn't like that. You have a little bit more room than that. But as you see the ride around, you'll see some areas where it's pretty congested with a lot of trucks and all that kind of stuff, where it seems closer than most people would want. You have those types that hate campgrounds. So if you hate campgrounds, you will hate this one. But if you like campgrounds and you see the advantages of using campgrounds, this one isn't too bad considering the benefits of the area. Price wise, it's a little bit up there. It's $33 a night, but again, location, location, location. If you're looking to go to Traverse City and you're taking your RV, this is probably one of the best options you're going to find close to Traverse City. To try to give you a little explanation of what it's like, I don't know if I can do it very well. When I got there, the site next to me was already taken by a tent camper, and they had their tent basically in my site as far over as they could, and I didn't understand why. And when they finally showed back up, they had a boat. So apparently they didn't want to unhook their boat from their truck, so they put their tent way to the side so they could get their boat and truck in. But for me, my campsite, I had to finagle quite a bit to get myself close enough to where I could plug in, because the boxes, when you have like one box for several sites, they're not always really close to where you're going to park your RV. So this might be one of those sites where you might need the converter if you got 50 amp to run it off at 30, and you might need an extension. I keep telling myself one of these days I might need to buy an extension. So campgrounds like this, you can sometimes run into that problem. I didn't care that their tent was over to the side as long as, they ain't blaming me because I didn't take their spot. That's not meant to sound like a complaint. It's just a fact. You might need an extension at this campground because the way they got their power boxes set up. There's another one of the bathhouses. I will also remind you that I set this up to be there on a weekday. So there is a very good chance that this is one of those insane weekend camping places. I again try to tell people I do my best to hit campgrounds during the week and then travel and use casinos for me a lot of times on weekends, because a place like this on the weekend, I'm sure, is just insane. And I don't always enjoy that type of camping on the weekends in most campgrounds. I'm just usually not a fan of your screaming children's, I'm glad they're having fun, but I don't want to hear it. This is riding by the very large main bathhouse.
Scamp. .301 to 363.
So my main suggestion, if you're planning to come to this campground, is look at their website. I would also suggest avoiding the campsites that are along the road. And if you go to their website and see the camp map, it's pretty easy to see what's along the road. The inner sites you don't hear the road noise, but I would think along that road, I know I wouldn't like it. And I don't think most people actually would. So looking at the website and trying to get a feel for where your campsites could be is a good way to go. especially here. So, in closing up, we're getting near the end, finally, for a lot of people, I would think. I would recommend this campground, but going in, you got to know what it is. It is what it is. It's a large, very large campground near a nice city. And with that comes pluses and minuses. And we're closing in on my campsite. It was a good size. I liked it.
That's about it. Hopefully I said enough about the campground during it, and that you have a great and wonderful day.